Imagine stepping into an airport and finding out someone has been living there, not for a day, not for a week, but for nearly 2 decades. No hotel room, no boarding pass, just a plastic bench, a pile of suitcases, and a maze of departure gates that became his only home. This is the true story of Mehran Karimi Nasseri, the man who lived inside an airport for 18 years. And it's a story of lost identity, human resilience, and a system that failed to set him free. In 1988, Mehran Karimi Nasseri, an Iranian national, arrived at Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris. He was supposed to be on his way to the UK, claiming political asylum after being expelled from Iran for protesting against the Shah. But somewhere along the way, his briefcase, with every single document proving who he was, went missing. No passport, no refugee papers, no visa, nothing. When British immigration refused him entry, they sent him back to France. But France couldn't let him in either. Legally, he didn't exist. He was stuck in Terminal 1. With no papers to enter France and no papers to leave the airport, he became trapped in a legal loop, a man with nowhere to go. At first, airport staff thought he'd be gone in a few days. They gave him meal vouchers and let him sleep on a bench. Days turned to weeks. Weeks turned to months. His home became a red plastic bench, surrounded by luggage and scattered notes. He shaved in public restrooms, bathed at bathroom sinks, and survived off food court scraps and kindness from airport employees. He read newspapers, kept a diary, and watched travelers come and go, while he stayed exactly where he was. He even made friends. Passengers who passed by regularly would stop to chat. Airport workers would check on him. He became a silent, strange landmark of Terminal 1. Over the years, lawyers and human rights groups fought to resolve his situation. But the absurd twist? At one point, both France and Belgium offered him residency. He refused to sign the papers. Why? Because the documents listed him as Iranian. Nasseri insisted he was British, claiming his mother was from the UK. He didn't want to accept any other nationality, so the papers stayed unsigned. The man stayed put. By the time authorities could have forced him to leave, public sympathy had grown so strong that no one wanted to push him out. And so he remained, day after day, year after year, becoming almost part of the airport's architecture. Nasseri's story caught the world's attention. Journalists came. TV crews came. Even Hollywood came. In 2004, Steven Spielberg made The Terminal, starring Tom Hanks, inspired by Nasseri's bizarre existence. But despite the fame, Nasseri never really got paid in a way that changed his life. Instead, he sat in Terminal 1, surrounded by stacks of letters and old boarding passes, still clinging to an identity no country would fully accept. In 2006, after 18 years, Nasseri's health failed. He was hospitalized and finally left the airport, not by choice but by ambulance. Afterward, he lived in shelters and small hotels funded by film royalties and charity. In 2022, Mehran Karimi Nasseri died, fittingly, back at Charles de Gaulle Airport. He had returned there in his final days, sitting again in the terminal that had once been his only home. It was almost as if, after everything, the airport was still the only place that made sense for him to belong. Nasseri's story is more than just bizarre trivia. It's a reminder of how fragile identity can be, and how bureaucracy, borders, and human stubbornness can trap a person in a limbo nobody wants to fix. He was called Sir Alfred by airport staff, a man without a country, without papers, but with a story that refuses to be forgotten. If you found this hidden side of history fascinating, make sure to subscribe to The Hidden Side, because the next story might just be stranger than fiction.